Hey guys, happy Thursday. Welcome to this week's Bless This Nest, which feels like it's been a while since I've been able to jump on. I think the last time was a couple weeks ago. So thank you guys for bearing with me. Last week was just crazy. If you guys heard, I'm here in Texas in DFW. We had a crazy winter storm that came through and our Texas houses just aren't meant for it. So last week we were one of the very fortunate ones that we didn't actually lose power. All our pipes are good and everything else, but internet was still very slow. And it just didn't feel right to go live last week because we had a lot of friends and family and things like that that just were not in a good place with their home and losing power and all that. So I took last week off, but I'm back this week. We are doing well here in Texas. Things are getting back to normal. It's back to like 70s weather, which surprisingly used to feel cold to us, but feels really warm now. So we won't take the 70 weather for granted any longer after last week. But welcome. For those that don't know me, I'm going to reintroduce myself because I feel like we have a lot of new followers recently. I'm Mariana Pearson. I own Modern Nest Real Estate Group. We are a real estate team here in DFW, Texas. We help people buy, sell real estate here. I've been in business for about 7 years now. Love what I do so much, and I decided I wanted to start this Bless This Nest live video series to kind of talk about different topics, either that I get asked questions I get asked a lot about, like today's topic, or just want to bring you guys some value. I'm all about adding value to your lives when it comes to buying, selling real estate, maintaining your home, anything real estate related, honestly. So hopefully you guys will continue to join me each week as we do new topics or I talk about different things. This week, I'm going to talk about 3 things. This is kind of like a hot topic, but it's 3 things that don't add value, 3 things or upgrades that you can do to your house that don't necessarily add value to your home. Now, I want to preface this topic by just saying, every situation's different. When I walk into a home, some things may add value in some homes and some places they don't add value. This is just kind of a broad overview of what I see a lot of homeowners asking me if they should or shouldn't do to their home in order to increase value. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't do these things. In fact, one of these things that I'm going to talk about, you should absolutely do to your house. We'll talk about that here in a little bit, but doesn't necessarily mean it's going to give you the highest ROI or return on your investment, basically give you more value for your home just because you did that one thing or upgrade or whatever it is. So just know that every situation's different, and I'll explain a little more about that as I go through. But hopefully these 3 things, if you plan on doing them, help you understand that just by doing them doesn't necessarily mean it's going to add value. So let's get started on number 1. The first thing is over improving a home. So there is actually a such thing as over improving a home. And what I mean by that is if you're considering any kind of like high-end upgrade to your house that the other neighbors or houses in your neighborhood don't have, just by doing that over improvement doesn't automatically add value to your home. For example, I was trying to think of something and I actually have someone who did this. They added a mother-in-law suite to their home. It was about a $90,000 update that they did to their home. No other neighborhood or no other homes in their neighborhood or even neighborhoods outside of their area, I was looking at it, have a mother-in-law suite that they've attached to the back of their yard or added to the backyard of their home. So that $90,000 update doesn't necessarily mean that it adds value or $90,000 worth of value to that person's home. So there is a such thing as over improving your home. Also a such thing as over personalizing a home. Doesn't mean again that you shouldn't add that mother-in-law suite or you shouldn't do that home improvement that you've been wanting to do. Or you shouldn't personalize your home. If purple, windows and purple exterior, if you're allowed to do that in your HOA or wherever you live, is what you want to do to your home, absolutely go paint it purple. But just know that because you've painted your house purple doesn't mean that it's going to add value to your home. So there is such thing as over improving or over personalizing your home. That's not going to add value to your home. The second thing that doesn't add value to your home is upgrading the utilities or mechanicals part of the house. So what I mean by that is the roof, the HVAC, the electrical, the water heater. Now, if you are an investor and you are flipping a property, so you're taking a property that has 0 updates, it needs a new roof, it needs a new HVAC, all that, and it's nothing. If you were to do all of those things, add a new roof, add the new HVAC, water heater, everything. Now, of course, that is going to add value to the home. But what I mean by this is upgrading one of these things. So upgrading the HVAC system, let's just use that as an example. Say your HVAC goes out. A buyer expects whenever they're purchasing a home for things to be functioning or working. So just because you just put in a brand new HVAC because the one before it went out, it costs you $15,000 or whatever it is to update that system, does not mean your home is now worth $15,000 more. We consider these things more normal home maintenance. It's part of home ownership. When things go out, you should fix it. It doesn't necessarily add value to your home. So just keep that in mind, that if you are thinking about just updating the HVAC system in general, now of course it's great for you to do, and I think that you should update an old HVAC system. It helps a lot with your electricity bills and efficiency of the house. Definitely something you should still do, but it doesn't mean that it's going to automatically add value or you're going to have a return on your investment of what you spent when it came to updating that system. Now, of course, I also think that it's going to help make your home easier to sell. You may have more than one buyer who, because you put on a brand new roof or you updated this HVAC, that's super important to them. And they're more willing to give you a better offer because of that. But again, just want to reiterate, just because you spent X dollars on that update doesn't automatically mean your house is worth that dollar amount for that update. So that is number 2. Number 3, okay, this one, we're here in Texas, so I can only speak for the area that I know, because I know that the topic I'm about to talk about is more popular in other parts of the US. But here in Texas, one of the things that doesn't add value to our homes or actually could hurt the value of your home is solar panels. I know the salespeople are great salesmen. They come to you, they sell their product really well. I hear it all the time. They even tell you, hey, these solar panels are going to add value to your home. I can tell you right now, and it's not just my opinion, you can talk to many real estate agents about this. We work with so many buyers and sellers, and the buyers here in Texas, we just aren't quite, I guess, we're not sold on the whole idea of the solar panel just yet. And in fact, a lot of buyers deter, or they're a little afraid of the solar panels, because if you have solar panels put on your house, most likely you have a lease with that solar panel company. This is the conversation that the solar company is not having with you. You usually have about a 20-year lease on those solar panels, and after that lease is done, they take the panels. You no longer own the panels. You've now just basically paid a solar panel lease during that time. If you decide to sell your house while that lease is still intact, you cannot cancel that lease unless you decide you're going to pay out the remaining amount, which is usually $10,000, $20,000 that you don't have or want to have to pay out, or that buyer is going to have to assume or take over now that lease. We kind of consider it almost like a second lien on the property because that buyer is assuming that and now having to continue with that lease. And what we see with what you're paying on the monthly payment for the solar panels versus what you would have been paying for an electricity bill, there's just not enough savings in those monthly payments for a buyer to go, you know what, yes, I want to buy this house and be in this commitment of this lease that, for the next 15 years. We just see too many buyers that are just a little too afraid by it. Now, if you decide you want to buy the solar panels outright, so you purchase them without a lease or anything like that, I think that most solar panels are anywhere from like $30,000, $40,000. If you decide you want to buy them, you now own them, put them on the property, and they stay with the property when you decide to go and sell the home. Now that could potentially add value. A buyer could really see that as a positive and be willing to pay more for it. But what we know and what we see more times than not is buyers are a little afraid of them just because they don't want to commit to that 15-year lease that they don't really understand 100%. So solar panels, as of right now, do not here in Texas actually add value to your home. So just keep that in mind. I know last week we had the storm here and there was a lot of talk about, oh, thank goodness I have, you have solar panels. That's what kept my electricity on. Actually, you still need electricity and you will still have an electricity bill when you have solar panels. Solar panels don't have, unless you, I guess, maybe could pay extra for it. I don't know enough about that part of it. They don't have a battery, so at night or during the day is the only time that you're actually using the solar panels, when there's actually sun hitting the panels and giving you electricity to your house. But at night, because there's no battery in the solar panels, and maybe you can purchase one, I've heard you can do this. Again, don't know the cost of it. I'm assuming it costs a lot. You don't have a battery in those panels, and most solar companies don't provide those as part of their lease or allow you to add a battery to the leased panels. So at night, you are still using electricity and you will still have electricity bill. Now, maybe like a $5, $10 electricity bill a month, but again, offsetting that with what you were paying and still having to pay the monthly lease amount for the solar panels. Does it, make enough of a difference, or does it make sense for you to add them to your house? So last week when we had here in Texas, all the electricity problems, a lot of people lost power. Even I have a homeowner who they have solar panels, they put them on their house. It's okay. They didn't talk to me about it, but that's all right. They added them, they wanted them. That's great. Again, I'm not saying you guys can't do any of these things or shouldn't or anything like that. I'm just talking strictly about what doesn't add value to your home. They had the solar panels. They did lose power and they were out for 3 days, and they still had water damage or busted pipe because they had lost power and their heat. Because the solar panels, again, they still require a little bit of electricity in order to get them to the house. I don't know enough of the analyticals of it, but they do require some electricity in order to power them or get them to your house. So solar panels, unfortunately, hate to break it to you, don't actually add value, and certainly don't add the $40,000 value of the cost of the solar panels that you'll pay in that lifetime and then have to give back. But yeah, so hopefully that helps you guys. As always, if you guys have any questions about remodeling your home, again, it's all situational. Everybody's different. Depends on what neighborhood you're in, what price point of house you're in. That will add a different value with those remodels. And I can only speak really here for DFW. But if you guys have questions and want to know, would something add value to your home? Should you make this update? How much money should you spend? What's going to give you the highest return on your investment? You can always feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to kind of let you pick our brains and answer those questions for you. It's one of the things that we do with all of our sellers and even our homeowners that just bought a house that are thinking about updating their homes. And so we're more than welcome or more than happy to answer those kind of questions for you. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this week's topic. If there's anything that you guys want me to cover in any of the upcoming weeks, I already have the month of March already planned out or all the way through. But if there's anything else that you want me to be talking about that I'm not addressing, feel free to reach out and let us know, and we'll make sure to add that to the list. Hope you guys have an awesome Thursday, and I'll see you next week.